Three answers in 5 minutes. Here we go. A comic book that had great impact on me. It has to be Avengers #4. I've given this a lot of thought. One reason it had so much impact on me is because it was given to me by a favorite aunt. She had 3 children. Her husband had passed away, and it was a great effort for her to bring up 3 kids, working as a news lady. She still found the time to give me this. This is the very comic she gave me. I was 8 years old, and I was home with the measles. She had good taste. This is the comic that was made into the first Captain America movie, for the most part. And I liked it so much that I wrote a comic book story about it and was published in this issue of Negative Burn. The story's called Avengers #4. A friend of mine drew it, and he did drawings of me mostly as I sat at the beach. And I told him about it, and I said that the cover was different than anything I had seen. I was 8 years old, used to reading Superman and Batman, and there's a cover by Jack Kirby, the greatest artist in the history of the American comic book. It's a story about superpowered human beings, but the person who really makes a difference in the story is the one without the superpowers, Captain America. That, in a Superman story, that would be absurd. He's the most powerful person in the world. Not only does Captain America make an impact, but there's a group in there called the Teen Brigade, just ordinary teenagers, and the problem wouldn't be solved without them. Also in this story, we end up with a horrible villain, but when you find out the motivations for the villain, you have sympathy with them, as do the Avengers, and the Avengers end up helping him in his problem, and that's the solution of the story. This story also had a sense of time about it, because at the start, they say that this is a story you'll remember for years, as it was, and it's a story that brings back a character from the 1940s. So for the first time, at age 8, I had a sense of the history of comics. The next question is about how I would create a welcoming environment for teens. Most of a welcoming environment is a matter of 2 factors. One is your personality working with young people, and the other is having something to convey to young people. I think I've proven through my history as a very popular high school teacher that I do have a personality that can work with young people, and I know an awful lot about art and how to convey it, and what students between grade 7 and grade 12 need in art, particularly in the world of comic books. The other matter is getting them to me to try to communicate with them, and I think that has to be done using social media. I've been putting out a popular blog on Facebook daily for the last 210 or so days that gets a lot of feedback. I can do this with other social media as well, and I think it's necessary to do that. I'll also be putting up the sort of banners that you see behind me, posters, so that people know I'm around. And, you know, it's not above teachers to put candies on their desk and give away comic books to kids that they talk to. These are some of the things I expect to do. Something I think you should know about me. I've brought up 3 children. One of them is now 42, one is now 32, and I'm currently bringing up my 2-year-old daughter. The 2 older ones, boys, are good citizens of their communities. They support themselves, they pay taxes, they do all the things that you'd be proud of in sons, and I am proud of them. I think I did a good job with them. I'd like to think I'm doing a good job with my daughter, and over my 40 years as a teacher, I've managed quite well with thousands of young people.